tomorrow you are well met. For today, I shall be hosting live on tape from New York an enormously unusual guest. Enormous not in magnitude or dimension, mind, but in talent and flair. Unusual in that he is full of beans in the flesh among the living on this side of the grass, thankfully. Yes, my dears, I finally landed a live one. No seance necessaire, for today you shall have your queries asked and answered in a rare interview with the gifted creator of the newly published novel Starlight and Moonshine. No, not this one by William Shakespeare. Heavens, me producer mistakenly purchased from a certain notorious online retailer. He balls up rather frequently. Quel fromage. Here is the book by today's guest. Lovely, isn't it? Joseph O'Malley is not only an author and YouTube impresario, but a connoisseur and excellent judge of literature with impeccable taste. In fact, when I recently confided how I am so often bored by interminably tedious tomes of long-winded tales and ceaseless sagas, in remembrance of tiresome texts past, he said he'd seek out something reflecting my own character and taste, and thoughtfully sent a brand new edition of Umberto Eco's On Ugliness. Well, I don't want to think too hard on that one, and I shan't. Now, as Truman Capote said, a conversation is not a monologue. So without any further delay or ado, I am so thrilled to present at long last to you none other than today's living literary luminary, Joseph O'Malley. Joseph O'Malley! Hello, Joseph, and welcome to Famous Interviews.
Well, thank you for having me, Mary. Lady. Should I call you Lady or should I call you Mary?
You can call me anything you like. Just call me.
Lady Mary.
Well, are you ready for some questions?
I think I am.
From your devoted fans? Well.
Or from anyone.
From anyone. And here we are from anyone.
Who cares to tune in?
Bookish Texan is your first question. Bookish Texan, you must be a rare breed.
That's Brian from Bookish, yes.
Hello, Brian. From the ad copy, I understand that Starlight and Moonshine is set in Detroit in the 1980s. Is there something special about that place and time?
Well, Detroit is where I grew up, and so, of course, that's where I set it. The time, 1980, I tend to kind of glom on to a particular time in certain things that I've written. I've written something that takes place in 1963 New York. I've written something that takes place in the early noughts of New York and Detroit. And this one happens to take, I'm currently writing something that's taking place in the present day-ish time in Michigan. But 1980 was a strange time. It was a time of transition in New York, and I happened to like the music from that time. The punk rock era started really gathering steam, and I just thought that 1980 was a good round number. So it was the time when Jimmy Carter was losing to Ronald Reagan, and so all sorts of things changed at that time. So
I'll say
it was I thought it was the best time for that to take place.
All righty then. Moving along rather quickly. Here's one from A Cruel Reader's Thesis. 5,868. I mean, there were 5,867 before this one. Heavens.
And that's Lukash from A Cruel Reader's Thesis.
Well, hello, Mr. Kosh.
Lukash.
Lukash.
His name is Lukash.
His name is Lukash. I have it on great authority. So, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a specific writer who convinced you that you wanted to write?
Well, I don't know if there was a specific writer, but I do remember reading Sherwood Anderson for the first time and thinking, this is something else. This is something that I want to be able to do for someone else. And at that time, I didn't have the courage to actually become a writer. And then there was a time when I was in Boston and I was reading a bunch of short stories. I was Plowshares is published out of Emerson College there in Boston, and I had subscribed to it, and I was reading story after story after story after story, and I just thought I really would like to do this. So it wasn't one particular writer, but I would say that maybe Sherwood Anderson is the first.
Oh, Sherwood Anderson.
Yes.
Winesville, Ohio?
Winesburg, Ohio.
Winesburg. It's a Jewish city. Yes. All right. Here's another one. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Now,
Shoot,
this one is from Tumbly Home.
Carolyn.
But I hear they have maid services nowadays, so. All right. Miss Tumbly. Have you always written? Now, this is a many-part question, so you can break it down afterwards. or tell me, and we
Okay.
can do it part by part. But have you always written? Are you a morning or afternoon writer? And do you find editing difficult? Well, that's a two-parter right there. I have been reading Virginia Woolf's diaries and especially loved finding out about her daily writing and how she was compelled to write. But it seemed a torture to her at times, poor dear. How is it for you, and do you fear letting the book go out of the world? Well, I don't know where to begin. Let's start with, are you a morning or afternoon writer, and do you find editing
Well,
difficult?
I think the first one was Have I Always Written? Is that correct?
Well, someone was paying attention, which is his fault.
Have I always written? When I was younger, when I was just a wee tot, I would take a pencil. I remember before I could write, I just loved the motion of pencil or pen on paper, and I would pretend that I could write. And so, in that sense, I suppose I was drawn to that activity. But I didn't really ever think that I could write as a fiction writer because I didn't have the courage for a long
Long,
time.
isn't that a Chinese thing?
Long time. And so I didn't always think that I could write, and I didn't really have the courage to write for quite a while. And as far as morning or evening, I write in the morning.
It said morning or afternoon.
Oh, morning or afternoon or evening.
Evenings are already too far gone.
I write in the mornings, but if I'm deeply into something, then I will cogitate upon it in
Cogitate?
while
Do you do that in public?
I'm on the treadmill. In fact, sometimes,
I should join that gym.
or if I'm walking, things will come to me. Or actually, while I'm knitting, also things will come to me that that may go into the story if I have my mind concentrated, and that could be in the afternoon. But generally, most of my writing is in the morning.
Knitting, like Tom Daly.
Like Tom Daly.
Just like
Yes,
Tom Daly.
yes.
All right, so what else we have here? Virginia Woolf and all that, and daily writing, and is it torture for you, dear?
It's not always torture for me. I quite like it, but the only time it's torture for me is when I don't have an actual project, or when I finished one project and haven't started another project. Then it can be a little anxiety filled, but normally I just sit there and stare into space and wait for a long time, which is easy to do. But and then sometimes I write very poorly if I don't have something that's really going. But I'm open to writing poorly, and I think one has to be, because then I can go back
Well, you won't find out by reading this book.
and edit it. Thank you very much. But as far as editing is concerned, I quite like editing because
That's sort of the writing process.
yes,
isn't
I
it?
can straighten things up. Sometimes I put cliches or awkward things in just sort of as landmarks, so that I can, as I go through in the editing process, I can find it and say, no, that's not really very good at all, and I can revise it. And in that process, I sometimes find more about what the story is actually about, and so I quite like it. And
embellish.
or pull back, cut, kill my darlings, etc.
And do you fear the book going out into the world?
Well, this is a strange thing. I should be very happy about it going out into the world, but
But he's a writer.
when I received my copy of the book, I thought, well, that's dead. And so for me, there's a certain kind of death that occurs when a book, or even if I've had a story published in a magazine, and it goes out into the world among strangers, and I hope that it is pleasing to people, not because it matters to me, but because it's kind of a gift that you give. Sort of like when you make a meal, you want to present it to people and you want them to enjoy it. Or if you give someone a gift and they say thank you and they love it, but you can tell that they really don't. It's not the really right gift for them. I fear that that's what may happen sometimes when my book goes out into the world, that some people may like it and some people may not. And I don't like to disappoint people, but that's life.
As an artist.
Quel fromage, I've heard.
By the way, what are these? It's a lovely drink, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not my usual, but what is it?
It's a Starlight Martini, and this is the undoing of the
cheers.
protagonist in my novel. Don't drink and drive. 2 parts.
Oh my goodness!
2 parts black sambuca.
1 part gasoline.
5 parts vodka. And today I put in a little bit of lemon juice just to see, and I think it helps.
Yeah.
But yes,
didn't help the Indians, the Americans, whatever they call them. All right, now here's one from Scally Dandling About the Books. Scally Dandler, you. All right.
That's Roz, and to scallydandle is
Roz, hello, Roz.
to scallydandle is to travel about in a fun sort of way, and her
Scally Dandling, you can see her hopping around amongst the
yes.
books.
Well, she likes to read books from all parts of the world, and
More importantly, does she like to hop?
you'll have to ask her that
Okay, Roz,
Let
next
us
time.
know.
So here's a question. How do you feel your life as a reader has influenced you as a writer?
That's a good question.
Of course, she's scally-dandling.
Well, as I said, when I first started writing, I was reading a lot of short stories, and I thought I wanted to do the same sort of thing. But now that I am writing fiction continually for quite a long time, I tend to read things that might inform what I'm writing. So, for instance, right now I'm writing a novel of manners, or a comedy of manners, and so I'm reading things like Barbara Pym and Jane Austen, and books that may be of that same ilk, not so that I can copy them, but so that I can absorb the feeling of it and maybe transform it into my own sort of thing. So in that way, that's one way that my reading helps. But another way, because I do read a lot of poetry too, and I do that because I hope that something about language or the use of language will somehow magically absorb into my brain, and it'll help me as I craft my sentence.
Did you find all those Shakespearean sonnets helpful?
I did, in fact, find all those Shakespearean sonnets.
He did a lovely series on every one of them.
I did, and it was I learned a lot. I can't remember half of what I learned, but I did learn.
He just recited one the other day, like Judi Dench.
Yes.
Spam at the moment, he can just come up with one.
Not really, but
well, you did.
Sometimes.
My mistress's eyes, or something
Nothing like
that.
the sun.
My mistress's thighs are nothing like the sun, which doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
All right, next question.
Yes.
Mick has read a book and mazel tov.
Yeah.
I mean, only the one.
I think he's read more than one.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, why would he be tuned into this channel? All right. Many writers include autobiographical themes in their novels. Often they are buried deep in subtext, camouflaged and invisible to most readers who know very little about the author. Being a cheeky bugger. Oh, you're one of us.
I don't.
I
know
will
if
assume
that's
there is
true.
a slice of yourself in Starlight and Moonshine. Is there anything you feel comfortable sharing with us?
There is a slice or a chunk. There are bits and bobs throughout. I tend to draw from the flotsam and jetsam of things that have happened or people who I've known or met or watched or know nothing about, and things that stick in my head, and I will use them. And
Things that thicken your head?
that stick in my head.
Oh, okay.
And in this particular book, there's a character, Aunt Addie, who is drawn from
Plus the ketchup.
3 different people. Yes, you've read the book.
Yes, it's a wonderful book.
Yes, so there are some gifts and some table manners or lack thereof that I drew from life from a relative of mine who's no longer living. So I don't have to worry about offending her.
Or a lawsuit.
Or a lawsuit. But then there are 2 other characters, 2 other people who have characteristics of Addie. And anyway, so yes, and there is also a character, Jack, the character Jack, who works in housekeeping in a hospital. And I did work in housekeeping in a hospital. He's not me, I'm not him, and it's not anything.
I imagine you might have to draw on certain experiences in your life.
Well, yes, and actually that was the first thing that I had written of this entire book, and I wrote it simply because I thought watching somebody work was an interesting thing to do, and I wanted to have at that point it was a story. I wanted to have a story about work, and I wanted to see if I could. So that was the task that I set for myself, and that was Jack's story. And then the rest of it, I don't know exactly where it came from, but it began to swirl around and became what it is today.
So, in other words, there were things in your past that reflected upon your present.
There were things in
and the present that he gave to us.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next question. From Smishel 398. Again, hard to believe there are 397 Smishels.
I think
But
that might
not
be
just Smishel.
Stephanie Michelle.
Oh, Stephanie, hello, darling. So, from Stephanie 398, from Read Me Reread. Is that right?
Read and reread.
Read and
That's
reread.
Angelia, yes.
My eyes, you know, they're going. Patrice Yanisi,
Yanachi.
X31. You mean you're working on 32? I mean, that's a shame, darling. Well, anyway, here's the question they have all posed, and it's simple. How long did it take you to write the book?
Not so simple.
Not so simple.
It took me a long time to write this book. It didn't start out as I never intended it for it to be a novel. I wrote one story, the story about the first chapter, which is about Jack. There are 3 people in the 3 children and a mother and a father and an aunt. And so I just set out to write Jack's story, and then I did. And then I don't know, I thought, well, what about those other 2 young people in that family? And I thought, okay, I'll write about them too. So I wrote 2 more stories, and then I didn't touch it for a long time, years, 5 or more, or 10 maybe, I don't know. And then I just started thinking about that family, and I thought, well, what about the mother and the father and the aunt? And I wrote Addie, and I wrote James, and then I thought, well, that's it. That's all I can do. And I thought, no, I have to find out what happens to Hannah. And
So you were driven to write from what you'd written.
yes, I was annoyed that I didn't know the full story, and so I forged forward, and then at that point it seemed like it all fit together as a novel, and lo and behold, I was able to convince somebody else of that too at Delphinium Books. That would be Joel Olshan. Thank you, Joel. And
Hello,
so
Joe.
here we are.
And congratulations on your recent betrothal.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You ready for another one?
I think I am.
This is from Read and Reread again.
We're reading.
But this time it's a solo question by Read and Reread.
Angelia, yes.
Read and Reread or Read and Reread. It's up to you. All right. Do you type, write by hand, dictate, combo? Do you storyboard the whole thing or learn by going where you have to go? What is your favorite bookstore? Well, let's parse this question. Do you type, write by hand, dictate, combo?
I start out writing by hand. I like fountain pens, and again, that action is something that I just really love. I actually like writing.
The ink gliding on the page.
Yes. And so I start out by hand, and then I type it up onto a computer, but then I sort of lose track. Sometimes I go back to whatever's there and type some more, and then sometimes I leave what's on the computer and then write some more, and I sort of lose track at some point. But I don't dictate, and
You don't what?
I don't dictate in public. Yes.
All right, so here's the next part. Do you storyboard the whole thing or learn by going where you have to go?
Well, I wake to write and take my writing slow and learn by going where I have to go.
Is that a poem?
There's a poem by Theodore Roethke, yes.
He's so literary. I just love it.
But I do learn by going where I have to go. I don't storyboard when it's the same for whether it's a story or a novel. I begin with either an image or something I've overheard or a character trait that I've observed in someone, and put them together with other characters and try to create a situation that I find interesting to see what might happen if they're all in the same room together at the same time. And by room, I mean on my page. And
he doesn't like anyone in the room when he's writing.
I don't like anyone.
He's like John Cheever.
Actually, though, I used to work in cafe. I mean, I used to write in cafes where I would eavesdrop. I would watch people fight. I would see things that are going on in the distance that I couldn't hear, and so I'd make it up on my own, and that was helpful for creating stories about things that I thought might be going on. Whenever I'm caught by something and I think, I wonder what's going on there, that's when I know there's something interesting to follow as a writer. So I learn by going where I have to go.
And here is her ultimate question. What is your favorite bookstore?
Well,
anyone you can find his book in.
Correct. I would have to say 3 Lives in the Village in New York is a very good bookstore. I quite like it. It's a small little place, and they're very friendly and very nice, and they will help you with whatever you need help with. My favorite bookstore in Detroit is John's, which is 4 stories filled with used books, and I used to go there constantly when I was a young lad at Wayne State University.
Is anything like that in San Francisco?
I don't know.
Oh.
There's Portland, Oregon. There's Powell's, but I've never been there. So, but then also in Detroit, my good friend Anne, who advocates for me, ordered her book from Bookbeat bookstore in Oak Park, Michigan, and they offered to have me read there, but because I don't have a travel budget, I had to decline. But if you're ever in Oak Park, Michigan, and you're going past Bookbeat bookstore, stop in and say hello.
And buy his book while you're there.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
All right. Well, here we go from Patricianacci X31,
Yes.
an ominous number. All right?
31 was a good year for me, but okay.
31.
Not 1931, my
What to
31st
say?
year, which, was just last year.
Well, it's better than 31 X's. All right. I love your music
Oh,
choices.
thank you, Patty.
Was it hard to choose your specific songs and to narrow it down to the ones you chose? And there's always an and, these people. How and why did you pick that drink? Well, go with the first part.
Okay, well, my music choices were partially came up from the characters themselves. I mean, obviously, I like most of the music that I chose, all of the music except for one. But the
Frankie?
yes, but so in Jack's chapter, we learn that Hannah likes jazz standards, and we also learn that Colleen is a very good singer and she likes to sing jazz standards. And then because it's 1980, I had to choose anything that was that came out before 1980, either in 1979 or 1980, and I do like that period of music. So I also wanted to include some Detroit people like Iggy Pop. So that's sort of the Neville Brothers, the version of In the Still of the Night. In the Still of the Night itself is a jazz standards, but the Neville Brothers version didn't come out till the late 80s, but I snuck that in anyway. And the only one that I don't really like is I don't like Frank Sinatra. I'm sorry. I love Dean Martin. I love lots of other people. I
But
don't.
it was another generation.
No, I love Dean Martin.
Frank Sinatra? Oh,
Yes.
true. But Dean Martin he's a sexy drunk. And who doesn't love that?
Right. But yeah, so I don't particularly like the Stella by Starlight, but that was the one that has the version that fit into my story.
And speaking of Starlight.
And Anita O'Day.
Oh,
Love.
Anita.
She plays a part in the book too. Go ahead. Oh,
Well, how did you and why did you pick that drink?
Well, okay, Starlight Martini. Hello.
Oh, it's a little strong for moi.
Well, I was at Iowa. I was at Iowa. IOWA. In Iowa City, Iowa. And it was summer, and I was out on the patio of a eating and drinking establishment, and
I think they call it a restaurant.
someone I know with whom I worked was sitting at a table not too far away. He was quite cute and much younger than I am, so I kind of let him be. But I saw that he was drinking this strange concoction, and I asked him what it was, and he told me that it was a Starlight Martini, and he let me take a sip, and it's Black Sambuca is black licorice tasting, and I love black licorice. And so I asked for a Starlight Martini, and they gave me one. And then, so that factored into the story because I just have always liked it, and I thought the Starlight Martini was a cool name. And so I tried to
And
find.
Hannah needed a drink, right?
And Hannah needed a few drinks every day, it turns out. But
did she drink this every day?
No, you'll have to read the book again.
Oh, I don't think I could. Well, I could. It's that much fun.
Yes.
I'd read it just for Addie.
Yes. But so anyway, I tried to look up how to actually make it and couldn't find that there is actually anything called a Starlight Martini. So apparently whoever the bartender was at the restaurant where I went to in Iowa City made it up, and then I had to make it up from there. And I came up with 2 parts Black Sambuca, 5 parts vodka, and the little rind of lemon on the rim for the Starlight. So that's that.
Well,
and I think it's quite nice. I mean, it looks beautiful, and I love that little lemon rind on the rim.
I like everything but the alcohol.
I love the alcohol.
All right. let us move along here. Amelia reads 589.
Yes.
I sympathize. Long books. I'm reading one right now.
Mine's not 589 pages, so you're in luck, Amelia. Go ahead.
Amelia says, I would love to see an audio. Well, you can't see an audio version, darling. So you do not want to hear it. So let's have a little lesson here. I would love to hear an audio version of the book read by you because I could listen to you for hours.
Wow.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Is there a chance that my wish could come true?
That is very sweet, and thank you, Amelia. But
Are you that powerful a wizard?
I don't think I am that powerful a wizard, but I have been told that that my voice puts people to sleep, and so I think maybe it wouldn't be as successful. I mean, it might be successful as a sleep aid, but I don't know that it would work very well in an audiobook. But I would love for somebody to do an audiobook of it, and I would like 6 different people because there are 6 chapters and each chapter is
Perhaps Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy could be Aunt Addie. Is all I'm saying.
And that's the movie version.
Yes. Or the audiobook version. Yes. Hello, Melissa McCarthy.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes. So.
Okay. And here we go from Mark Iannacci.
Iannacci.
Perhaps that's Patrice's number 32.
That's Patrice's older brother.
Then I don't think he'll be number 32 or any of the numbers. All right, here's his question. Will there be a question-answer video after we have had a chance to read it? Oh.
Well, I had not thought about that until Mark had asked that question. And so, yes, there will be, because of course there should be. I think it may have been premature of me to ask people to ask questions before they'd even read the book. And so, yes, of course, if you have questions after reading the book, you can send them to me at josepho'malleyWriter@gmail.com or to TheTrek@gmail.com or any of my other social media things, and or even in this video, the comments of this video. I'm open to questions as for anything that you may want to know about the book. So thank you for asking that.
And thank you for tuning into my lovely intimate interview with Joseph O'Malley.
And I hear people are dying to get here, and I didn't even have to die. So,
well, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. This is
rain check on that.
Okay.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the questions we have time for today, darlings. I must say it's been such a treat having someone with a pulse to interview. And just between us, one look at you, Mr. O'Malley, and my pulse is racing. And to you at home, I do hope he was able to satisfy all of your queries, dearies. If not, I'm sure he'd be up for another go-round. He usually is. He's nothing if not eager to please. So that's all for today. I do hope you enjoyed our little Q&A with Joseph O., author of the haunting new novel, Starlight and Moonshine. Do tune in next time when I shall again, most likely, be unearthing a new guest. Until then, I remain Lady Mary Pozah, and this has been a very special, famous Interviewers.